Hey guys, welcome tonight to Tea Time and Insurance Tips with Sybil Green Padilla. This is a special edition tonight. As you know, this is not Tuesday, but I wanted to bring you some special tips tonight on disaster planning, how to weather the storm. As you guys know, Mr. Hurricane Ivan has made his entrance into the Tampa, Florida area and is raising havoc. I think it's a Category 5 now, and we have friends and family there. We're sending up prayers for you guys to be safe. We're praying God encamps his angels around you to protect you from all hurt, harm, and danger. So know that we're praying for you guys there in the Tampa, Orlando area, for the residents there. So 2.5 million people, I heard the other day, were asked to evacuate. Now, a lot of those people did not leave. I saw on the news today, a lot of people are going to do what's called weathering the storm. And that's what prompted this episode tonight, because I've been hearing that from friends and families. Also, I've been hearing a lot on the news. This gentleman was weathering the storm because he was saying he's had this house. This is his home. He's not leaving it. He made it through Hurricane Andrew and Hurricane Katrina, and he wasn't going anywhere. He was going to weather the storm. And that simply means, guys, weathering the storm. I'm like, what does that mean? Weathering the storm, I'm just going to cope with it. I'm going to deal with what comes, what may. Whatever happens, whatever will be, will be. I call it the Doris Day. I'm going to deal with it, deal with the hardship that comes with it, and deal with all of that comes through weathering the storm. I'm going to deal with it, and cope with it. And we know that that's going to be tough. So we're praying for those people. So 2.5 million people had an opportunity to leave and go to shelter. And I don't know how many percentages stayed back, but a lot of people that I noticed on the news had chosen to stay. And it got me thinking, as an insurance professional, how many of us do that in our lives? Now, disasters don't just mean hurricanes like Hurricane Ivan, or earthquakes or tornadoes, but they're also man-made disasters. Where going to your job and not returning home that night because you've died, or your husband has died, or was killed in an accident. Those are disasters as well, and those actually happen every day as well. Okay. So just like, Hurricane Ivan, people are weathering the storm. It made me think about how many of us weather the storm in our natural daily lives with death. Death is a disaster. Disaster is anything that is a sudden event that happens. Death is sudden. Now, it's not really if we die, we know it's going to be when, so we know it's going to happen. And just like with these hurricanes, we know it's not really if they happen, it's just when they happen. With all the global warming and the temperature changing and all of that, we can expect more of this is going to happen. So that's why I wanted to kind of bring to you some planning things that we can do for planning for disasters. But I wanted to talk about that because I got to thinking, how many of us weather the storm in our lives? When we choose not to prepare for these things, we just are basically say, hey, I'm going to deal with what comes, what may, and, just whatever happens will happen. And really, they didn't have to. They could have chosen to go to shelters. Now, I don't know, again, how many of that 2.5 decided to weather it, but you don't have to weather the storm of life in your life. You can prepare now. The best time to prepare for a disaster is before it happens. We cannot buy car insurance when we've had an accident. We cannot buy life insurance, final expense insurance, when loved one has already died. We cannot get flood insurance. After a storm has already started and flooding has already started. And that's what we so many times do in life. And it just got me thinking, how many of us are weathering the storm in our lives as far as putting off, or, I'm going to deal with, I know I'm going to die. I'm just going to deal with it. And just come, they're going to have to do what they have to do. And really, we don't have to do that. So I wanted to bring to you that point of preparing, because natural disasters cost money. When the hurricane even hits, and we're going to hear on the news about all the homes that are going to have been lost, lives that are going to be lost, unfortunately. But deaths occur in losses. Financial resources are drained in these natural disasters. It puts strains on our families. These disasters put strain on our cities. Tampa is going to go through quite a bit. It's going to be millions of dollars to fix the damages that are done there. Look at Puerto Rico, hit with a couple of storms. They're still recuperating. Look at the levee being broke and the dams being broke in New Orleans. They have not recovered yet from that. So we see that these disasters put strains on our families. So why not prepare ahead of time and plan for them? Because again, it's not if they happen, it's going to be when. And we want to be prepared. So that's what this message is tonight about preparedness. In the insurance industry, we're always talking about preparing. And you can prepare for your storm before it happens, and not put a strain on your family. And not put a strain on the community and the city, and family and friends to provide income to take care of that death. It is our responsibilities to prepare ahead of time. So these are some of the things that I found online that I think will be great. I'm in the Charleston area. We are on standby. We haven't got orders to evacuate, but we do want to be prepared just in case. Savannah, I think, is on watch as well. And your state where you're watching from may not be on call or on notice, but you may have a storm that comes through your area as well. So this will be good for you to do as well. And one of the things I liked was a go bag. Have a go bag. A go bag is just a bag that you have ready and you set for if you got 1 second to get out of the house and evacuate that house. This is a bag that you should have already prepared and set up for you, kind of like maternity bag. You have all these things in here just waiting for when the water breaks. Prepared. Water, you definitely want water in that bag. You want a first aid kit. Flashlights, definitely. Battery powered radio. Okay, that was on there. Non-perishable food. I guess you want to put something in there, of course, that's non-perishable that you can eat, because you don't know how long you're going to be without food. Blankets, clothing, of course, prescriptions. Don't forget those eyeglasses, and personal hygiene supplies that they're going to be, and cash. And I was thinking about that. I never carry cash, so that's probably something definitely needed in these times of disaster to have that, because we don't know how the banks or the systems will be, if they'll take cards, if we'll be able. So cash. I thought that was good. Also, too, take important papers like your passport, your birth certificates, marriage license, your deeds to your house. Have that in a folder. And put that in your go bag as well, so you can have that with you at all times. Also, take inventory of your house. This can be done now while you're not in a disaster. Take inventory of all of the furniture, all things in your house, because that way you'll have that video on file, that record on file. That way, if you ever have a flooding or a disaster happen, when you come back to the house, you can do another video and they can see what you had before and the damage that was done after. I thought that was really good. So those 3 things we can do now to plan and prepare for a natural disaster that may hit. Always be prepared to leave and to move. Make sure you have a place that you can go to. Kind of like they get a fire escape plan. Where would you go if you had to evacuate? Make sure you have money for that. You might have to stay in hotels. You don't know how long. So we always talk about emergency funds, having a cash emergency fund available if in need of that. So those are some things that I wanted to bring to you tonight, and wanted to talk about, weathering the storm. A lot of times we don't have to weather the storm if you don't have to. You don't have to put yourself through that. So these are ways that you can plan and prepare for natural disasters, and also plan for your your man-made disaster of death when it occurs. Not if, just when. So I hope that was valuable information for you. I know we've had 5 big hurricanes that I know of. I was looking at Hurricane Katrina was in 2005, one of the worst natural disasters in our U.S. history. 300,000 homes were lost, 1,800 deaths, wow, and $100 billion worth of property was damaged with Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Andrew was in 1992, second most destructive hurricane to hit the U.S., $26 billion worth of damage, 65 deaths there. All disasters come with loss, property, and life. Superstorm Sandy, 2012. This was the largest hurricane ever recorded. She hit 24 states were affected by this hurricane. But it says only 285 died, but $70 billion worth of damage was done. And South Carolina here in 2015 had a huge flood. You all might have heard about that. It was before we got here. 10 inches worth of rain flooded out a lot of people lost, flooded out their homes, and a lot of property damage. And 10%, less than 10% people have flood insurance here in South Carolina, because we don't normally flood. So they weren't able to file that claim. So that is just something just to think about, guys. Getting some things in place. Look at flood insurance if that's something you're in an area. I don't sell it, but I do know you want to make sure you understand how the repercussions of it. Homeowners insurance doesn't always cover floods. I was reading also 30 days waiting period for flood insurance. So you wouldn't get it, a day before, a hurricane is coming. It wouldn't be in effect. So these are some need to know things. I don't sell flood insurance. But these are things that you might want to look at getting. This can help in your preparedness for your disasters. Okay, so I hope that has helped. I didn't want to go too long, but I hope that has helped. If you find my information valuable, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications when I come on and upload. We're going to go back to our regular schedule Tuesday tea times next week. So thank you for joining. I hope this was valuable. Please stay safe out there, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye-bye.